It's been over a year since Mines of Dalarnia released its game and has been releasing more features over time. Welcome to Modbots, the latest feature of Mines of Dalarnia, where you deploy bots to gather moonships and earn Dar every end of the season. In this idle game, you need to be prepared for storms. Always 7 of them happen in a season, but the type or date is mostly unknown. Remember, storms won't happen in the first 5 days and the last day of the season. To protect your party from these storms, you need to have enough defend bots and repair bots. Every season lasts 30 days. Each day you can build up to 6 bots. To play the game, you need to be at least level 5. Now let's sign up and check out the game. We can now see the interface. So let's categorize it in 3 sections: Total Scores Area, Modbots Area, and Other Elements. In Total Scores Area, we can see the number of moonships gathered this month. This value isn't affected by any storm, meaning it can't go down. Next is the total velocity, which means how many moonships miner bots can generate per day. Last 2 help us to stay protected from regular storm, more in the storm section. Modbots Area. In rows, you can see the type of the bots. In columns, on the other hand, you can see the associated resource to the bot. For example, here you can see an Iron Defend bot. Now, let's discuss these numbers. Count reflects how many particular bots has been bought this season. It is useful to determine the price for future bots. Velocity reflects how your total velocity will increase after the purchase. Remember, values here change after each storm. To protect your party from deadly storms, we'll need defense and efficiency. Values from there will be added to both our total statistics and partial ones. Partial statistics seen here show us how well we are protected from storms associated with a particular resource. For example, here we can see our iron defense, and here our aquarite efficiency. We'll explain storms later. Let's look at other elements. Here we have season number and current day, timer until next day of the season, message board. You can check the storm history here, the globe to have visual presentation of your existing bots, utility tabs to manage resources needed, and lastly, deployment page, where you can see how many resources are needed for deploying new bots and whether you built all 6 bots today. Okay, now that we are familiarized with the interface, let's take a closer look at our mod bots, how to build them, and what's their cost. Getting new mod bots is simple. Just click on the ones you want to buy, then on plus, and when you're ready, click the green button. But before we accept our deployment, let's focus on its cost. Right above the Build and Deploy button, we can see the total amount of resources we will spend. The easiest way to understand the cost of our single bot is to look at the resource type above it and its count number. Let's start from beginning. Here, our count value is 6. So the only thing you need to do is to add 1 to the count number, as the first bot cost 1 resource, while 7 bots costs in total 7 resources. So let's start selecting our mod bots again and analyze where this come from. We want to buy 2 iron miner bots, 3 golden defend bots, and 1 iron repair bot. We need to take a look at the count value of these bots. Then, we need to add 1 for each bot we want to buy. Finally, sum everything up. Fortunately, we don't have to do maths by ourselves, as we can see the sum in the deployment field. So, the only thing left is to click Build and Deploy. Take a look at how our statistics have changed. Each one bot increased our statistics by these numbers. So, as a result, we increased all of the total statistics and partial gold defense and iron efficiency. To increase total statistics, you need to buy any bot in a row. But for partial statistics, you need to deploy the specific bot. Hence, investing in partial defense or efficiency requires more effort, but is equally important. Now, after knowing how to deploy bots and increase the stats of our company, let's take a closer look into storms. We can categorize storms into 2 kinds: resource-specific, that can be protected by partial defense and efficiency, regular storms which can be protected by total statistics. Each season, 7 random storms will occur at some point between day 6th to 29th. Now let's go into details of these storms, beginning from the regular storms. Defending from these storms is simple, as only the total statistics matter for us. Total statistics are relatively easy to increase as all resource type bots increase them. When they occur, the following things happens. Your total velocity will drop to your total defense value. No changes if total defense was higher. Then, your total defense will drop to your total efficiency. No changes if total efficiency was higher. Moreover, if you lose at least 1 total velocity, you'll lose 50% of all mods' partial defense. The same thing happens with your partial efficiency if you lost at least 1 total defense. In this first scenario, we were prepared for the storm. Our total defense was higher than total velocity. Same with total efficiency. We had enough of it to prevent from any losses. So there is no negative effect on any of our stats, aside from total efficiency, but more about it later. For now, we can happily move on. The second example isn't as fortunate. We haven't lost any total velocity, but our total defense was higher than total efficiency, so we lost 230 points. Additionally, as we lost some total defense, all of our partial efficiency is halved. Last thing worth a reminder is that regular storms can happen maximum 4 times during one season. So, if this is the case, you can be sure that no more will occur. Resource storms. Resource storms are harder to protect, but are slightly less devastating. Just slightly. In the contrary to regular storms. Here we need to focus on partial statistics instead of the total ones. With each resource storm, we first need to check the respective resource column and its partial defense and partial efficiency. Your total velocity will drop to your resource partial defense value. No changes if the partial defense was higher. Then, your total defense will drop to your resource partial efficiency. No changes if partial efficiency was higher. Moreover, if you lose at least 1 total velocity, you'll lose 25% of all mods' partial defense. The same thing happens with your partial efficiency if you lost at least 1 total defense. With regular storm, we lost 50% partial statistics, but in this case, it's just 25%. Okay, let's see the results when a copper storm occurs. There will be no effect on our total velocity and total defense because we have a greater amount of copper defense to protect our total velocity and greater amount of copper efficiency to repair our total defense. We were lucky because the copper storm occurred. We would lose everything if it were a silver storm, as both partial statistics are 0. You should always be prepared for all of the storms. After each storm, few things happens. We lose half of the total efficiency. It's inevitable, but fortunately easy to rebuild. Velocity of each future miner bot fluctuate between +5 and -5, including 0, with a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 10. But your total velocity will stay the same. Last, but definitely not the least, are rewards. At the end of the season, we'll calculate the total moon chips collected. And no matter your position, you'll get rewards based on your percentage value. For example, if you've collected 2,000 moon chips and the entire community has collected 200,000 moon chips, you have 2% of the total moon chips mined by all participants. So, you will receive 2% of the reward pool in the form of DAR. Note, 2% of 25,000 DAR is 500 DAR. That's it. Thank you for today, and we wish your mining company the best possible storms.